everyone, and welcome to another episode of Erongo Talk. My name is Leandrello, and today I join you from a very windy Swakopmund, specifically from Hotel Zum Kaiser here in Swakopmund. Now, as usual, I bring you the latest news, the weather and tides, and then for our interview today, we chat to local entrepreneur Lavinia Ngodji. Now, she is a taxi driver, a female taxi driver. She's breaking stereotypes. She talks to us about what it takes to be a female taxi driver, and she's providing a safer option for women and children. So you gotta stay tuned for that. We also bring you a leadership business tip by Rowan van Dijk. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. And now it is time for your news right here on Erongo Talk, and we join you from the roof of Hotel Zum Kaiser, and I must tell you, this view is stunning. Now, we kick off with some sad news. A 31-year-old man died and 3 others sustained injuries in an accident that occurred on the B2 highway 10 kilometers from Usakos on Monday afternoon. Now, Erongo Nampo spokesperson Inspector Eleni Shapumba confirmed the accident involving a silver Volkswagen Polo and a white Mazda government-registered vehicle. Now, it is alleged that a silver sedan with 3 occupants was traveling from Usakos to Arandas. Now, the driver tried to overtake a truck and collided head-on with an oncoming vehicle belonging to the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Land Reform. Now, the government vehicle had 2 occupants, he said. Now, the police have opened a case which includes 1 count of culpable homicide and another of reckless and negligent driving. Now, the deceased have been identified, but you can read more on our website. That is at www.erongo.com.na. That's www.erongo.com.na for more on this story. Now, moving on. Now, the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism has introduced a new park entrance and conservation fees for visitors effective 1 April 2021. Now, in a media statement, the ministry said that due to a shortfall in resources needed to conserve wildlife and maintain infrastructure in national parks, there was a need to revise the parks and conservation fees. Now, furthermore, the ministry said that local park fees have not been adjusted since 2005 and remain the lowest in the Southern African Development Community. Now, the entrance and conservation fees structure differ from park to park, with prices ranging from $10 Namibian to $700 Namibian. Now, the combined fee of conservation and park entrance fees are affordable and based on market-related prices. Now, the ministry consulted with stakeholders in the tourism industry in developing the new fee structure. But you can read more on that. That's also on our website. That's at www.erongo.com.na, because the ministry explains what they are using the funds for. And then just in something in Afrikaans to end off our news bulletin, the private sector en wel groothandelaars en verspreiders mag COVID-19 enstowwe van geloofwaardige bronne na Namibië invoer om die verkryging van enstowwe in die land te versnel. Nou, die inligting is vervat in 'n openbare kennisgewing wat op 31 Maart deur die Ministerie van Gesondheid en Maatskaplike Dienste aan die private sektor oor die invoer en administrasie van COVID-19 enstowwe uitgereik is. Nou, die aankoop en invoer van COVID-enstowwe word beperk tot enstowwe wat deur die Namibiese Medisyne Beheerraad, dis NMRC, goedgekeur is, of die wat in pas met die bepalings van afdeling 45 van die Wet van Medisyne en Verwante Middele en soos vervat in die regeringsaankondiging op 9 Maart vanjaar van registrasie by die raad vrygeskeld is. Nou, private hospitale wat aan immuniseringspunte geoormerk is, het vroeër gesê hulle sal nie enstowwe gebruik wat nie deur die NMRC goedgekeur en geregistreer is of noodlysstatus EUL van die Wêreldgesondheidsorganisasie het nie. Maar jy kan gerus meer gaan lees daarop op ons webwerf, dis www.erongo.com.na. Nou die artikel verduidelik presies hoe hierdie proses gaan werk en watter enstowwe mag dan ingevoer word. But before we say goodbye for our news bulletin, please check out this lovely view on top here of Hotel Zum Kaiser.
We are joined here by Lavinia Ngodji, who is a female taxi driver all the way from Swakopmund. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thanks. How are you, Adolf?
I'm doing very well. So, I mean, tell us like the name of your company that you've established, and perhaps as a female taxi driver, how did you come up with this business?
Okay, my company fully name is Malnico Trading, and it is basically inspired by two names combined, the name of my son Malakai and his late father Franiko.
Yes.
So the inspiration behind it was basically being a single mom and wanting to bring a change to my community and Namibia at large. Yeah, so what inspired me to be a female taxi driver is obviously seeing the need in the market of not having female taxi drivers out there, and a demand of safety, especially for women and children. Yeah, so that's why I started the taxi business here in Swakopmund.
So going back to when you started, what was running through your mind? You were like, okay, I see a need in the market. Let me go buy a car. Let me start this business.
No, first of all, it is actually my first car that I had. And then I thought there was a time where in Namibia it was a lot of gender-based violence, kids going missing and all of these things, and majority that were affected were the women and children. And with that, then I thought, okay, I could actually now afford, because I actually do also catering in my business, and I could afford to have a second car, and rather use, instead of selling it or something like that, I rather used it for need in the market, and that's why I used it as a taxi. And I thought, taxi, people need it all the time, and why not here in Swakopmund?
Yes. So I'm sure ladies are really appreciative of this. I sometimes see when ladies are approaching a taxi and they see it's only guys in the taxi, they're like, next, you know. So you already mentioned that. But what are the other benefits that people, ladies and men, feel when they are in a female driven taxi?
Well, they just see something different. They just see a woman who's different and who can accommodate them. So it's a sense of not just safety, but also just the friendliness, because people are going through a lot of difficult stuff on a daily basis. So sometimes when they get in a taxi, they just find it as a place where they can, find comfort and talk and share, and that bit and that short drive also makes a difference in their lives. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned that people can deliver parcels through you. So I'm sure it is also a matter of trust, because I know women are our mothers, so we trust them. So I'm sure that is probably one of the elements as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, people always see the need to not to really easily trust people. So it's like a new face, and then when they see that you can actually take your word for it, when they hear that you say, no, you're going to do this for them, take this parcel to them, they actually see you doing it, they're like, oh, okay, I can actually trust this person. So for them, they just feel like, okay, this person is actually making a difference in the town, in Swakopmund. So, yeah.
Right. Tell me more about your routine when you wake up. You obviously also go to, you also commute, you go to Valfus and come back. You also here in Swakop. Just your routine when you wake up and you're saying, today I'm going to drive the taxi, just a few things that you do.
Okay, so first of all, early in the morning, I have to have a communication with my source, which is
Yes.
God. So I start my day off with that just to give me the strength to keep pushing. And then I also do contracts. So I take kids to school as well, back and forth. So I usually start, say, 5:30 in the morning with those routines because it's a few of the kids, and then I do 2 trips. So I start with that, and then say about 8 o'clock, then I do the trips for people that commute to Wildfish Bay and back. Yeah.
In terms of challenges, what are probably your top 2, top 3 challenges, and how have you overcome them?
I would definitely say the fellow male taxi drivers here in Swakopmund, they can be a little bit challenging and rude. Yeah, the brothers, they are not really accommodating us females, especially me being like the second only female here in Swakopmund driving a taxi. So they can be a bit naive and a little bit rude and throwing words and such and such. And I think it's just I think that would be the biggest challenge for me.
But you have overcome it.
But I've overcome it, yes. I go out there and I smile with them and I say, no, come on, my brother, let's do this. I mean, if your taxi is full, there's space in mine, why don't we share? The cake is big, let's just share.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of now looking at, there's a lot of other people who probably thinking, wow, I want to become a taxi driver, but I'm a woman, or I want to do this kind of job, but predominantly society has labeled it as a man's job due to the stereotype and prejudice that is in our world. How would you encourage someone who is having those thoughts in their minds?
I would actually say, first of all, the change starts with you. So you have to somehow really just tell yourself that I can do this and get up and start doing it. And also just surround yourself with a community that will help you. So places that accommodate women especially, and just get some advice from there on how to start, and if you have a fear of going out there. And also just if you do start when you're out there, also just look out for the safety precautions. So don't unnecessarily just pick up all 3-4 men at the same time. Don't drive late at night. Always carry maybe a pepper spray on the side as a woman. Yeah, but I would definitely say the biggest advice is to get up and get started.
Just do it, as the Nike sign says.
Just do it.
Yes. And what are your last words?
My last words is Namibia is for everyone. Namibia is a woman. It's for women. It's for men. Let's accommodate each other. And if you are a woman out there and you're struggling just to start something, I mean, you can start anywhere. So surround yourself with a community that will help you build up, and just start and don't give up. Even when things get tough, just keep going. Keep going. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. That's what I would definitely say.
Awesome. So that was our very inspirational Lavinia Ngodji, who is a female taxi driver. I do not want to label you as a female taxi driver who is a taxi driver here in Swakopmund, because we're all equal. So thank you for having us here on our show.
Thank you very much, Adol, for having me. It was a pleasure and an honor.
Right.
Thank you.
So that was Lavinia Ngodji, who is a taxi driver here in Swakop. Keep on watching Erongo Talk.
So welcome back. We're progressing nicely through the word leadership, and we are now up to the letter R, which is reasonable. Hi, my name is Rowan van Dijk. I am a professional speaker, author, and a leadership trainer. And we are working through the leadership flag. The letter R represents the word reasonable. So what does it mean for you to be reasonable as a leader? Does it mean that you need to give in to everybody? Does it mean you need to give in to team pressure or to group pressure? Does it mean that you always need to take somebody else's side or accept their explanation? No. Being reasonable means that you are aware of other people's opinions. You are aware of other people's feelings. the word that normally used for this is empathy, being able to put yourself in somebody else's situation. But as a reasonable leader and being empathetic and showing empathy towards your team, it means basically that you sometimes allow for mistakes. None of us are perfect. You, as a leader, in the position that you are, you didn't get there overnight. You didn't suddenly wake up one morning and decide, I want to be a leader, and whoop, you were a leader. It doesn't work that way. It's a process. It's a journey. And along this journey, you sometimes fall down. And that's why you have a team, so that somebody's there to pick you up. You make mistakes. What's important to remember, though, with making mistakes is, I always say, and you can write this down, failure is only failure if no lesson is learned. So as long as they're learning from their mistakes, as long as they are growing, as long as they are gaining experience, allow for mistakes. I use my granddaughter as an example lots of times. I mean, those of you who have children, small children, the first time they started crawling and then they got up to stand to walk, they didn't just crawl and then one day get up and walk and run down the passage. It was a process. They stood up, they fell down. They stood up for longer, they fell down. They stood up for longer until they could stand without falling down. Then they took the first step, then the second step. Then eventually they started walking. Then they started running. And maybe you're lucky your children might have become super athletes. The point is, it all started with trying to stand up and falling down. If you do not allow for that, they will not grow. So you have to allow people to make mistakes. What's very important, though, when you do allow people to make mistakes, is they learn to trust you more as a leader, because they realize that you are there to help them grow, not to nail them. So they will open up to you, and they will stop hiding things. Yeah, some people make mistakes and then they hide the mistakes. That won't happen. If you're allowing them to make mistakes and you're allowing them to grow from their mistakes, and instead of disciplining them or shouting at them, you're saying, come, let me help you up. How can we do this better? How can I help you so you don't fall down next time? In that way, you're going to grow trust, and your relationship with your team is going to grow, and it's going to get better. And you're going to be seen as a reasonable leader, and people are going to follow you a lot easier. So if you like this content, if you feel this is relevant to other people, remember, subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the bell icon for the notifications, and share the heck out of this. Share with anybody, everybody, your friends, your enemies, your frenemies, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, enemies of your enemies, whoever. Share with everybody that will find value in this content and that will help them make better leaders. I will see you back for the letter S.
Now we are still expecting some east wind conditions here along the coast, but here is your weather forecast for all the major towns here in the Erongo region. unfortunately, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Erongo Talk, and I must say, the Erongo Talk team always bring you something fun, some beautiful views, and something interesting. Now you can check out our website. That's at www.erongo.com.na. That's www.erongo.com.na for all the latest news that's happening right here in the Erongo region. You can also follow us on our social media platforms. That is Facebook, it's Twitter, it's Instagram, and then you can also get in contact with us at 0811 7040. That's 0811 7040 on both WhatsApp and Telegram. That's also your go-to number if you want to advertise with us. That's 0811 7040, and that is definitely the number for you to get in contact with us and let us know what's happening in your town. Let us know how you're doing, how you're coping, and what you guys are up to. Please remember that we still find ourselves in a pandemic, so it's important that you social distance, wear your mask, and sanitize your hands at all times. So enjoy the east wind weather here at the coast. Other than that, it's goodbye for now. See you tomorrow.